Welcome to Ecclesia Principles, a biblical strategy for believers to engage in God's design for government with Ray Eppard.
Hello, good to talk to you today. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about Moses and the message that God gave Moses. Now, our text is 1 Corinthians 10:11. This says, now all these things happened to them as examples. In other words, the Old Testament stories are examples to us, and they were written for our admonition upon whom the ends of the ages have come. They're our example. They are to admonish us. Now with this, too often we look for underlying meanings. And by too often, I mean there are underlying meanings, and we should dig out and find those. But it would be really good just to start with the surface truth that is there. And now, one of the biggest problems that we have in the church world is that the church thinks that we should not engage government, where in reality, most of the great stories of the Bible, especially the Old Testament, dealt with God's people addressing the government of the day. Moses is an example. He was out in the wilderness. He sees the burning bush. God talks to him, tells him to take his shoes off because he's standing on holy ground. And then he tells him he's sending him back to the land of Egypt, where the children of Israel are enslaved. And he tells him, there's a lot of things he tells him, but he tells him to deliver a message to Pharaoh. And that message he was delivered to Pharaoh was, let my people go. Let my people go. You see, Moses' ministry, if you would, it started out as an emissary to a foreign government, to a government that had enslaved his people. Now, God used Moses to create a nation out of Israel. But the message that he had, it was more for Pharaoh than it was for the Israelites. Let my people go. All of the miracles that took place, the plagues, the 10 plagues that took place, all of those things were a message to Pharaoh and a judgment on the gods of the Egyptians. And it was a message emphasizing, let my people go. You see, the thing of it is, God has a purpose for every nation. God has a purpose, and it isn't that he has plans for some of them to be evil. No, if he planned for them to be evil, then them being evil would not be a sin. It would just be fulfilling his will. No, but God knows whether they will be evil or not, and then he uses them accordingly. He uses them as he wills, but they make the choice on whether or not they resist God or whether they comply with the leading of God. They make that choice. Therefore, they are accountable for their actions. God is not unjust. But at that point, Pharaoh was resistant to God. He was resisting the will of God. And at that point, God's message was, let my people go. Moses' ministry, and we need to start noticing this throughout Scripture. God has messages for government. God has messages for government that he plans on delivering through his people. God bless you. Have a great day.
Follow us on YouTube and Facebook on our Ray Eppard pages. This program was brought to you by Victory Worship Center and World Outreach. Services Sunday 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock, 200 Hammond Lane, Stanton, Virginia.